with me way back then, girl. How about now? Cause I'm up right now. And he's up right now.
Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. You see the thumbnail. Top 5 needs for the New York Giants going into the draft. I gave it a little bit of time. I talked about how to fix the Giants in the series a couple months ago. Might have been 2 months ago I did that series. Now we're less than 20 days away from the draft. And, you know, we made some moves in free agency. We picked up some people. You know, we had some quality signings. And now let's try to readjust what this top 5 needs are going to be. But before that, salute to the South Carolina Gamecocks. They just won the championship, the women's NCAA championship. They beat Iowa. Dawn Staley, perfect season. I believe they said it's like the 4th team that's ever had a perfect season and won the national championship. So salute to them. Salute to Iowa. Salute to Caitlin Clark. Most likely going to be the #1 draft pick, you know, in the WNBA. Rightfully so. Salute to those ladies out there. Because guess what? They made a fan out of me. I was tuned into women's basketball like I've never done before. And I was thoroughly entertained. Shout out to them. But back to New York Giants football. So, top 5 needs. And we already know. Some things are just, you know, you can't change them around. Obviously, #1 is going to be the quarterback. That's a top need. Now, depending on where you sit, you might believe that quarterback is a top need. You might believe that you know, we don't even need a quarterback at all. But I think the consensus is that we need somebody in the building to add to this quarterback room without a doubt. And I'm one of those people that believe that we need a quarterback without a doubt. I understand what happened last year. I understand the circumstances with the offensive line, which a lot of people also have as a need. But just when it comes to the quarterback position, there's a couple of things that I think about when I think about the quarterback position. Even if you wholeheartedly believe that Daniel Jones could come back off of this injury and be the guy that he could, you know, that you thought he was going to be in, you know, going into 2023 after that 2022 season, even if we don't know where he is as far as rehab for this injury. And just because of that, for those people that believe that, and just because of that, you have to add another quarterback to this quarterback room. Drew Lock is not enough. Tommy DeVito is a project, is not enough. So if you're in a position to draft one of these top 5 quarterbacks at 6 or whatever, quarterback has to be addressed. A quarterback, we need another body in the quarterback room, and preferably one of these top guys. I'm not looking for a Spencer Rattler in the 3rd or a Pratt in the 4th or 5th or a Milton in the 4th or the 5th or the 6th. I'm not looking for that. If we're going to go ahead and address this quarterback position, it has to be one of the top 5 to top 6 guys. Has to be one of those guys. And depending on where we're picking this guy at, you know, that's the biggest determination. So quarterback is absolutely still a need for the New York Giants, even though we did pick up Drew Lock, you know, in free agency. Next on my list, offensive line. And it's funny because prior to free agency, offensive line was very, very big on my list. I still see people today that will, you know, we need to go Joe Alt, pick up Joe Alt. I see it in the comments, Joe Alt. We know we need a tackle, and I'm looking at the moves that, you know, Joe Schoen made, and I'm looking at some of the names and some of the guys that he brought in. Everybody's a veteran. Everybody was a starter or had you know, quality starting snaps. Everybody has a lot of football, you know, under their belts. A lot of plays, a lot of snaps. And I think because of what happened before, again, Joe Schoen has only been here 3 years. Oh, this will be his 3rd year. I can't blame Joe Schoen or continue to blame Joe Schoen about what happened before he got here. Now, we had issues with the offensive line for a long time. Very, very long time. Since the last time we won the Super Bowl, we've had a problem with the offensive line. And even that Super Bowl, the offensive line wasn't that great, the last one. But it needed to be addressed, and we've been dealing, you know, we've been throwing draft picks at it. We've been going through free agency, had some terrible signings and stuff like that. And now I'm looking at what Joe Shane has done in his third year, minus what he did his first 2 years here, where he was dealing with mostly, younger guys, whether it be rookies, second year guys, 3 year guys. He was leaning towards the younger guys who are developing, who needed still some of those fundamentals to get those things down like that. And then I look at this offseason, totally different. Everybody that he picked up, all those linemen that he picked up, all have been starters in the past, or either had enough starts in their past that they're considered veterans, established veterans, not the cream of the crop. Of course not. We didn't spend that kind of money to get the cream of the crop, but just some of the guys that we picked up. When you think about Runyon, when you think about Illuminor, these guys, in my opinion, are penciled in starters. So, you have Andrew Thomas, you have JMS. This is a big year for JMS. His second year, he has to show some improvement. But when you put two quality guys next to him, so whether it's John Runyon, or if it's Jermaine Illuminor playing guard instead of tackle, or if he actually Illuminor wins that spot at tackle, who's going to be the guard next to him? You still have guys like Stinney, Evan Neal if he kicks inside. You have some guys that have started and should be able to help out the center. And again, I don't think that JMS needs that much help. I just think that, first year struggles, things like that. A lot of things are very teachable when it comes to how he was, losing some of those reps. But I'm very, very high on JMS still. And when you put better guys next to him, I expect the total, I guess, machine that you want to call it, the offensive line, to be better. Not fantastic. It would be fantastic if they were fantastic. But I expect them to be a lot better, especially in the rankings, run blocking, passing, and all of that this year versus, what we've seen in the past. So that was quarterback, that was offensive line. Okay, some people believe that running back is a top need. To me, I think running back is a need to add to the room, to add to that committee. You kind of know what you're getting with Singletary. We kind of know what type of back Brightwell is. But after that, it's Corbin, it's Gray, it's the new kid that we picked up from South Carolina. Dante, I'm forgetting his last name now, but the kid who played at Columbia and then played at South Carolina, had the whole issues with his eligibility in college, and ended up being not a UDFA or somebody that was eligible for the draft. Ended up being pretty much just a guy that we could sign flat out. He ended up being a regular free agent. So that's that. So I think when it comes to running back in this draft as a need, I don't feel like it's one of those top needs or I wouldn't put it as a top 5 need. But if you're sitting there at 70 and one of those, and again, you guys have watched my mock drafts. I keep saying I'm not picking up a running back until day 3, round 4. That's the sweet spot for me. I'm starting to warm up a little bit, because if you're looking at 70 and a guy like Trey Benson, which I don't believe will be there, might be that's somebody that you look at. Jalen Wright is somebody that you look at 70. Those are guys that that's probably only 2 guys that I will probably take, within day 1 and day 2. But I like a guy like Estime and Braylon Allen, in the 4th round. I like those guys, but I don't think running back will not be one of my top 5 needs in this draft. Next I'm going to say is cornerback. Cornerback is a need in my opinion, and we do have like a lot of bodies as far as the secondary goes. We got a lot of bodies out there. We got a lot of young, unproven guys. Obviously, we have Deonte Banks, who's going to be the default cornerback 1. I got into a little bit of a debate with people on Twitter earlier this week when I said, even though Tate Banks had, a solid year for a rookie, I still don't believe he's not quite a CB1. You're not looking at Deonte Banks like, yeah, he's a CB1. He's going to be the CB1 by default, because we haven't made a move. We haven't signed a free agent for that position. Obviously, we still have time. Dory Jackson is still out there. Stephon Gilmore is another guy that's out there that people talked about. There's some guys out there, but we haven't addressed that yet. So I think cornerback is definitely a need. There's some good, solid cornerback prospects all through this draft, and almost every round. You figure first, second, third, even the fourth round. Guys like, Jarvis Brownlee, the kid from Tennessee, Haddon was another one. You got Kalen Carson. There's some guys at day 3 that's some good quality cornerbacks. Not to the quality of a Terrion Arnold or a Quinyon Mitchell or a Kool-Aid, Cooper DeJean. Not that quality of guy, but there's still some quality guys that can fight the room to try to, get some snaps. Not somebody that I would pencil in as a CB2, right off the bat when we're picking in like day 3 if we don't get a cornerback earlier than that. But definitely cornerback is high on my list. Wide receiver, of course, everybody's tuned in. We need a wide receiver. I absolutely agree with needing a wide receiver as one of those top needs. And when you look at the boards and you look at where the New York Giants are picking, wide receiver makes a lot of sense, if not the most sense to a lot of people. You have some blue chippers there. Rome Odunze, in my opinion, is a blue chipper. I wouldn't say, any of these guys are like generational. Maybe Marvin Harrison is close to being generational. But I just hate using that word generational because that, like Larry Fitzgerald coming out of college, that's generational. Now, is Marvin Harrison as good as Larry Fitzgerald when he came out? Again, this was back in 2004. Same year that Eli Manning came up. Is Marvin Harrison that? I don't know, but he's very, very good in a blue chip player. Malik Neighbors, blue chip. So these are 3 blue chip wide receivers that the New York Giants are in prime position of getting one of those guys. And that's been one of the biggest debates for me and a lot of people when it comes to, what do you do at 6? Do you get, like some people say, do you get the 3rd, 4th best quarterback, or do you get like the 2nd best wide receiver? And when it comes to positional value and the quarterback class being as strong as it is, I'm still taking a quarterback. I'm still taking quarterback 3 or quarterback 4 or even quarterback 5 over wide receiver 2. That's just me. But I can understand why people want to take a Odunze or Neighbors, or if it's flipped and Marvin Harrison is actually, not the first wide receiver off the board. I understand why, and I wouldn't be mad at the New York Giants for taking one of those caliber guys. If I had my pick, it would be Rome Odunze or Marvin Harrison over Neighbors. I just think those 2 guys have a certain kind of physicality to their game. And, at the point of catch, that, not saying that Neighbors doesn't have it. I just see it more, especially when it comes to Odunze. I just see it more with that guy more than Neighbors. But wide receiver, definitely a top need. And then I wrestle with myself about what I would put in as the 5th pause, what I would put in as the 5th top need. And I went back and forth between edge and defensive line because it's almost like, yes, we picked up Brian Burns. Yes, we have Kayvon Thibodeau. We have Azeez Ojulari, who just brought back Isaiah Simmons, who also gives you a lot of versatility as far as safety linebacker and also giving you some pass rush. What's more important right now? What would I put ahead of the other in regards to edge or defensive line? And it just depends on the round that we pick up somebody, because if you go on edge early, guys like Braylon Trice, Chris Braswell, if you're looking for an edge at like 47, depending on what happens in the first round, I can see that. But then you also have guys like Braden Fisk. You got Ruke Rororo from Clemson is another guy. You got what's the guy? Chris Jenkins Jr. You got Michael Hall from Ohio State. You got Tavondre Sweat. Murphy. It's some really good defensive. What's his name? Jazan Newton. There's a lot of quality defensive tackles, and we do need another D tackle because we have a lot of unproven. Behind Dexter Lawrence. Yes, we have Nacho. Okay, Nacho's cool, but after that you got Jordan Riley. After that you got DJ Davison, and I'm very, very high on Jordan Riley, but it's still an unproven guy. And again, when you're talking about the draft, a lot of these guys are unproven, but Jordan Riley was, I believe, a 6th or 7th round pick. And it's just like, okay, even though I'm high on them, I don't know where the Giants are. And some of these guys that are coming out could be, absolutely plug and play right next to Dexter Lawrence. So for me, and again, it's tough. It just depends on the round. it's my video, so I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna tied for fifth top needs is edge or defensive line, whichever one comes first. Pause. That's I'm okay with that. But that's my top 5 needs. So what I'm gonna do right now, if you're still tuned in, go ahead and list down in the comments down below what your top 5 needs are for the New York Giants. I can't wait to read that. I do want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.